When we think of road trips, it's easy to picture cross-country odysseys or legendary highways. But sometimes the most meaningful adventures can be found in exploring a specific region, where landscapes, cultures, and traditions shift from one corner of the country to another. Each region of America has its own personality, and the roads that weave through them tell stories that are just as captivating as the destinations themselves. Let's start with the East Coast, a region where history meets modern life along some of the most scenic drives in the country. One of the most iconic is the Overseas Highway in Florida, which connects the mainland to the Florida Keys. This 113-mile journey takes travelers across a series of bridges and islands, where turquoise waters sparkle on both sides of the road. It feels less like driving and more like gliding over the ocean, with stops in Key Largo, Isla Mirada, and Marathon offering chances for snorkeling, fishing, and enjoying fresh seafood. The drive culminates in Key West, a quirky, colorful town that celebrates sunsets like nowhere else in America. Further north, the East Coast reveals a different kind of beauty along Maine's Route 1. This coastal highway winds past lighthouses, lobster shacks, and quaint fishing villages. The salty air, rocky shores, and crashing waves create a rugged yet peaceful atmosphere. Stops in towns like Camden and Bar Harbor invite travelers to explore charming streets, indulge in clam chowder, and experience Acadia National Park, where mountains meet the sea in spectacular fashion. Driving through New England, you can feel the deep-rooted history in every town square and colonial building, a reminder that this is where the American story began. Heading south, we encounter the warmth and hospitality of the southern road trips, where music, food, and culture come alive. One of the most beloved routes is the Natchez Trace Parkway, stretching 444 miles through Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee. This historic path follows a route once used by Native Americans, traders, and explorers. Today it offers a tranquil, tree-lined drive that feels untouched by time. Along the way, travelers find historic markers, scenic overlooks, and opportunities for hiking and biking. Near Nashville, the journey connects with the city's vibrant music scene, offering a blend of natural beauty and cultural richness. Another southern gem is the drive along the Gulf Coast, from Alabama to Florida. With white sand beaches, emerald waters, and laid-back coastal towns, this route feels like a summer dream. Stops in Gulf Shores, Pensacola, and Destin provide chances to relax on the beach, savor fresh seafood, and soak in the sun. Unlike the bustling East Coast, the Gulf Coast carries a slower, more relaxed rhythm, where life feels simpler and days stretch longer. In the Midwest, road trips celebrate the open spaces and heartland charm that define the region. The Great Lakes Circle Tour, for example, is a network of routes that loop around the 5 Great Lakes. These drives reveal stunning shorelines, sandy dunes, and vibrant cities like Chicago, Milwaukee, and Cleveland. One highlight is Michigan's Upper Peninsula, where rugged forests, waterfalls, and Lake Superior's dramatic coastline create a wild and unspoiled beauty. For many, the Midwest represents the quieter side of America, where the road leads to discoveries of small-town diners, friendly locals, and hidden natural wonders. The West, of course, offers some of the most dramatic road trips in the world. The Going to the Sun Road in Montana's Glacier National Park is a must-see, winding through alpine meadows, past glaciers, and along steep cliffs with breathtaking views. This 50-mile stretch is short compared to other road trips, but the scenery is so staggering that every mile feels unforgettable. In Utah, the Scenic Byway 12 takes travelers through Red Rock canyons, natural arches, and desert landscapes that look like they belong on another planet. Road trips in the West often feel like adventures into the extraordinary, where nature's raw power is on full display. Traveling north, the Pacific Northwest brings a completely different atmosphere. The Olympic Peninsula Loop in Washington State is a road trip that circles around Olympic National Park, offering a blend of rugged coastline, temperate rainforests, and snow-capped mountains. Along the way, travelers can explore tide pools on Rialto Beach, hike through moss-covered trails in the Hoh Rainforest, and enjoy the serene beauty of Lake Crescent. The Pacific Northwest is known for its misty, mystical vibe, where the landscape feels ancient and untouched. Driving here is less about speed and more about soaking in the serenity of the natural world. Finally, we cannot forget the wild, untamed roads of Alaska, where road trips truly push the boundaries of adventure. The Seward Highway, stretching from Anchorage to Seward, offers some of the most spectacular scenery in the United States. Towering mountains rise sharply from the water's edge, glaciers gleam in the distance, and wildlife such as moose and eagles are often spotted along the roadside. Another epic journey is the Dalton Highway, which stretches more than 400 miles into the Arctic Circle. Remote, challenging, and awe-inspiring, it is a road trip for those who seek solitude and the raw power of nature. Driving in Alaska is not just a trip, it's an expedition into the last frontier. These regional road trips highlight the incredible diversity of America's landscapes, from the tropical waters of Florida to the rocky coasts of Maine, from the music-filled highways of the South to the wild peaks of the West, and from the mystical forests of the Northwest to the icy expanses of Alaska. Each road tells a story. Together, they remind us that the road trip is not just about distance or destination, but about the experience of moving through places that awaken our senses and expand our horizons. In our final section, we'll bring everything together with reflections on why road trips hold such a powerful place in the American imagination and what they mean in today's fast-paced world. Conclusion. When we take a step back and look at the road trip in its entirety, it becomes clear why it has remained such an iconic part of American life. Unlike air travel, where the focus is on the destination, road trips are about the journey itself. Every highway, back road, and scenic byway offers a chance to experience something unexpected: a roadside diner, a hidden waterfall, or a conversation with a stranger who becomes part of your story. In that sense, the road trip is not just travel. It's a celebration of curiosity, openness, and the spirit of adventure. Throughout history, the American road trip has represented freedom. It emerged in the early 20th century when cars became accessible to everyday people, giving them the ability to explore beyond their hometowns. Suddenly, the vast landscapes of the United States deserts, forests, mountains, and coastlines were open for discovery. The interstate highway system, built in the mid-20th century, made long-distance travel easier than ever, and a new kind of culture was born. Motels with neon signs, roadside attractions like giant statues or quirky museums, and iconic diners where weary travelers could grab a bite. These elements gave the road trip its unique charm, making the journey just as memorable as the places visited. But road trips are more than nostalgia. They are also deeply personal experiences. For some, a road trip is about escape, leaving behind the stress of daily life and finding peace on an open stretch of highway. For others, it's about connection, families piling into a car, friends sharing playlists, couples discovering new places together. The intimacy of being on the road with others fosters conversations and moments that might never happen in ordinary routines. Even solo travelers find companionship in the rhythm of the road, in the landscapes that unfold mile after mile, and in the quiet clarity that comes with being alone with one's thoughts. The cultural significance of road trips can also be seen in music, movies, and literature. From Jack Kerouac's On the Road to iconic songs like Route 66, the road trip has been immortalized as a metaphor for freedom, exploration, and self-discovery. Films like Easy Rider, Little Miss Sunshine, and Thelma and Louise use the road trip as a backdrop for transformation and storytelling. This enduring presence in pop culture shows how the idea of hitting the road taps into something universal: the desire to see what lies beyond the horizon. Yet, road trips are not only about looking outward, they are also about looking inward. Driving long hours across changing landscapes provides space for reflection, inspiration, and perspective. The simple act of watching mountains rise in the distance or deserts stretch endlessly across the horizon reminds us of how vast the world is and how much more there is to experience. Road trips give us permission to slow down, to notice the details that are often overlooked, and to rediscover the joy of wonder. In today's fast-paced digital world, where so much of life is scheduled and predictable, road trips continue to hold a timeless appeal. They encourage spontaneity, the freedom to take a detour, to follow a sign to an unknown town, or to stop at a vista just because the view takes your breath away. That sense of unpredictability is refreshing in an age where so much of travel is planned down to the minute. On the road, the unexpected becomes part of the adventure, and those moments often create the best stories. What makes road trips across America particularly powerful is the diversity of experiences they offer. Within a single journey, you might pass through bustling cities, sleepy towns, towering mountains, and empty deserts. You'll encounter different accents, cuisines, and traditions. Each region reveals its own identity, yet they all come together to form the rich tapestry of America. A cross-country road trip in particular gives travelers the opportunity to see how connected and yet how varied the nation truly is. And beyond the beauty of the landscapes and the thrill of exploration, road trips remind us of something deeper, the importance of presence. On the road, life is reduced to essentials: the hum of the engine, the playlist on the radio, the open sky ahead. It strips away distractions and brings us back to the moment. Whether it's watching the sun set over the desert, standing before the crashing waves of the Pacific, or simply laughing with companions in the car, these are the moments that stay with us long after the journey ends. As we conclude this journey across America's highways and backroads, one thing becomes clear. Road trips are not just about travel, they are about transformation. Every mile driven is a reminder that the world is bigger than we imagine, and every stop is a chance to grow, learn, and connect. Whether it's the romance of Route 66, the majesty of the Pacific Coast Highway, the mystery of the Blue Ridge Parkway, or the untamed beauty of Alaska's roads, the road trip continues to be an invitation to explore, to dream, and to live fully in the present. So the next time you feel the pull of adventure, don't overthink it. Grab a map, pack your bags, and hit the road. Because the greatest stories are not always found at the destination. They are written in the spaces between, on the open road, where freedom, discovery, and wonder are waiting.